Well, in the wake of Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, states are grappling with their own rules on abortion. And over the last week, thousands of Hoosiers have rallied in protest of the court's decision. Indiana's battle now moves to the Statehouse, where lawmakers will meet in special session at the end of the month to consider a possible abortion ban. Benta Boutier reports.
Hours after the court handed down its decision, people started to gather on Bloomington's Courthouse Square.
We're hoping that we send a message of pro-choice is popular. It is. Like, most people in the United States do not support the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Abortion is still legal in Indiana and will be for at least another month, when lawmakers have pledged to take up the issue in a special session. The governor calls that session an opportunity to, quote, make progress in protecting the sanctity of life. On Saturday, both sides of the abortion fight collided at the state capitol.
My heart is broken. I love this country, even though it breaks my heart a lot these days.
Others are ready to see Indiana join more than 20 other states in banning or heavily restricting abortion and think it should be without any exceptions, even in cases of rape or if the mother's life is at risk.
I do believe that it should be across the board because even though a woman's life might be at risk, there's still a life there that needs to have a chance to live.
Tensions were high between the dueling groups, and police formed a line between the crowd and the speakers. The moment isn't lost on Fisher's resident Veronica Hamilton, who already had a son to take care of when she chose to have an abortion in 2019. She got pregnant at 18, and 8 months after her son was born, she and her son's father split.
I was sick almost the entirety of my pregnancy, which also caused me to not be able to work because I was just constantly vomiting. And I was also in a really bad relationship at the time, but in that moment I did want my baby and I wanted to move forward with the pregnancy, and so that's what I chose.
When she got pregnant again, she was in a stable relationship with her now husband. They'd already agreed they didn't want to have any biological children, and then her oral contraceptives failed. CDC data shows 60% of people who have abortions are already parents.
Having a baby in that moment would have greatly affected our abilities to accomplish other things in our lives. One of them being I had just switched careers and I was in a really important transitionary period where I knew I could not afford to take a leave of absence.
Hamilton hasn't shared her personal story until now, but the dismantling of Roe v. Wade pushed her to speak out. She hopes doing so will help destigmatize the conversation.
All kinds of different people need abortion care. 1 in 4 women will have an abortion in their lifetime. Someone you know and love has had an abortion and or will need one.
Last Friday, when the Supreme Court decision was announced, it was an emotional day for Hamilton.
My initial reaction was just grief and sadness and shock, but at the same time, it quickly turned to anger and resolve and needing to do something about it.
She wants Indiana lawmakers to know a majority of people don't support an abortion ban. A 2019 Ball State survey shows just 17% of Hoosiers think abortion should be illegal in all cases. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Benta Boutier.
Here's our Statehouse reporter Brandon Smith with IPBS over Zoom to answer some of our questions about the upcoming special session. Brandon, did it surprise you that the Indiana legislature's special session was delayed to the end of the month, and how does that benefit lawmakers?
It did surprise me. I mean, Republicans have been trying to repeal Roe v. Wade for nearly 50 years, and Republicans got a sneak preview of the Supreme Court's ruling about 2 months ago, and still somehow don't have legislation finalized. I don't know what the delay is about. They say it's for logistical reasons. I guess you have to take them at their word for that. But I don't get the delay, and I don't think there's much benefit to it, other than they want to get all their ducks in a row before coming in and passing this ban.
You know, Governor Holcomb and multiple other GOP lawmakers have said abortion legislation will be on the table. What kind of legislation should we be looking for?
They're going to ban abortions in Indiana. The question is whether they will allow any exceptions. The 3 most general exceptions are for rape, incest, or when the life of the pregnant person is at risk. I don't know what the final product would be, but my personal opinion is that if there's any exception, it would only be when the life of the pregnant person is at risk. And I would argue the greater likelihood is that they don't allow any exceptions at all.
You know, is the state prepared to support what will likely be an increased need for assistance from low-income mothers and children?
Well, House Speaker Todd Houston said in his statement that, yes, he strongly believes that an abortion ban should be coupled with greater support for pregnant people and children both before and after birth. But based on everything that the Indiana Republican-led General Assembly has done over the last decade plus, there's no reason to think that those supports will be enough.
We have just about 30 seconds left. How can we expect this to influence elections coming up? Who will this affect the most?
I don't think it will. Maybe in the one or two close races that we were expecting to see at the Statehouse, but beyond that, these districts are locked in where they are.
All right, Brandon, thank you. That's all the time we have. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Joe.